Here's the next army that we're going to be painting. Let's go ahead and decide what theme we're going to do. Remember, this is part of the large Imperial army I purchased over my last several videos. All of these have already been primed. Some of them have already been painted by the previous owner. Let's go ahead and take a look at what we're going to be doing. All right, I've got Mustafar, Kashyyyk, Coruscant, Crate, Geonosis, and Hoth. Let's shuffle these and see what basing theme we're going to do for these miniatures. All right, looks like we're going to be going with Kashyyyk. That'll be fun. Welcome back. We're going to go ahead and start painting our scout troopers. We're going to do them in a camo version this time, and this will match the wooded theme that was chosen for this army. And remember, the entire army was already purchased like you see before you. Before we begin, we're going to start with our basing. You can pick up any wooded sticks or anything, but I went ahead and got some deadfall from Woodland Scenics. It includes these branches and tufts like this. So we're going to go ahead and break some of these in half and put them on our bases. So go ahead and get your glue ready, and we'll go ahead and start the timer and do our first model here. So go ahead and grab a wooded stick that you like, break it in half, kind of like this one here. I'm gonna go ahead and apply our glue on it. Use our leader. And maybe I can see this going through his leg here like that. That's pretty cool. And we're also going to use some rocks. So you can go ahead and pick some rocks up, or I'm just going to go ahead and use some cork that I picked up at the store. Just break it in half, get some tiny little rocks. We're also going to glue that to our bases as well. So here's a nice little cork I chose, put some glue on it, and apply that to the base. Maybe I'll do it right here. Alright, so I'm happy with that. Keep it simple. And we also have some space for the mud and the wooded floor. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and stop this. And we're going to do a time lapse for the rest of the models in the unit. Right, after finishing those up, they look pretty cool already. As you can see here, got some different versions of each of the bases. Looks pretty, new, but once we get everything painted, it's really going to blend in nicely. All right, let's go ahead and start painting. Already, these have been primed when we first purchased them. So this camo version, I'm going to go ahead and do a layer of skeleton bone from Army Painter. And I'm going to cover the entire model in this. So let's go ahead and put this on a wet palette and start painting these models. Now, this specific Army Painter color is pretty thick. So make sure and wet it. We don't want to get too thick and lose the detail on our models. Let's go ahead and start our timer here. And let's start painting. And just go ahead and cover the entire model. Don't worry about getting it anywhere else. Alright, now that we got the model covered, we're going to go ahead and do another time lapse here. Pause this. Okay, after this coat, we're going to go ahead and move on. As you can see, it just nice, solid color here for our base camo. The next color we're going to use is going to be Loren Forest. Go ahead and put that on your wet palette. Alright, let's go ahead and start this. Alright, we're going to grab this guy here. And you can make the camo as big or small as you want. I'm going to show you how to just do it quickly. So just go ahead and drag your brush in the area of the line, like so. And then just come over here, do another green on this side, some back here, up here on his backpack. It doesn't have to be perfect. This is the fun part on his helmet. You can make it kind of diagonal, kind of go inside, and kind of drag it back down the other side. However you'd like. You want every model to be distinct and different. I know it doesn't look too good right now, but if you're just patient, I promise you it's going to come out looking pretty cool. Now, I like to load my brush up pretty thick because I only do one pass. I don't want to come back and have to recover it. And the most important thing about this step Make sure all of your coats of paint are dry before moving on, because you don't want to cover up and mix your colors if they're still wet. So as you can see, I'm just randomly choosing spots to put on my green. Knowing that I'm going to add another color in, leaving spots for that. Also keep in mind that we don't want to cover up all of our tan color either. I'm going to get a little bit more on this mask here just for fun, and just dragging it down here. You know, in my mind I'm thinking, you know, I'll have a brown spot here, so it's going to kind of break up all this green. So I'm pretty happy with this. I know it looks really silly right now, but stay with me. Let's go ahead and get his top of the helmet here a little bit. Let's just make one come over the cross of it like this and down. Okay, let's leave it at that, and we'll go ahead and do a time lapse of the other models. After applying the green part of the camo, this is what they look like now. I know it doesn't look like much, it looks like a bunch of splotches on the armor, but we're going to continue on. Now we're going to go ahead and do some Gorthor Brown. Go ahead and put that on your wet palette, and let's do the same exact thing but with brown now. So let's go ahead and start our timer. Grab some brown on your brush, and now apply it in opposite diagonal directions. I like it thick again a little bit. Make sure you leave the tan color so that you know it's 3 different distinct colors. And it's okay to overlap. Just make sure you have enough color so it's not showing through. So our plan after this is to go back through and do our black with a wash to get all the details of the gloves and the visor and any other cracks of the armor we want to put the black on. And I'm just trying to make it as camo-y as possible here. I know they're bigger strokes with the paintbrush, but this is supposed to be easy for anyone to do. If I wanted to take more time and make it look more professional, I would. But from a tabletop experience, when you have these out on the table, it's going to look really good. I've done this before, and the results turn out really good, even for these larger strokes. So I think I'm almost happy with this here. You know, I have my tan and my green and brown colors all nicely dispersed. I'm going to put a little bit here on the mask. Make sure I get some in there. A little bit more here on the chest. And again, it doesn't have to be perfect, but that's the look I'm going for on all these models. I missed a little spot here in the arm. I'm just going to go up like that. All right, I'm happy with that. I'm going to go ahead and push pause and do a time lapse. After those have now dried, I'm going to go ahead and use some black to fill in the areas of the model. So go ahead and put some on the wet palette. Here it is. So the models here are now dry. As you can see, very large brush strokes for the camo. It looks pretty cool so far. It's just going to get better here with this. Go ahead and look at it here. Just going to cover up the pant area with the black. Alright, so that kind of wraps up the first model with the black that I want. And remember, it's okay if you get on the lines or get it on the armor, just try to wipe it with your thumb. Okay. After painting the black in between the crevices and the armor and the weapons, now the model really starts to pop out a little bit. Still going to make it look better. Okay. Pretty cool. Alright, now we're going to focus on the base. Going to be doing the cork in Dawnstone color, and we're going to be doing the logs in a Gorthor Brown, in the very base Dryad bark. We're going to go ahead and get started with the very bottom. Go ahead and put the Dryad bark down. You can use a nice thick brush for this, lots of water. Go ahead and start the timer. Just grab the model and apply it all over the base. It's okay if you get the boots or the armor. And all the crevices. Okay, there's that. Wash my brush. I'm going to grab some of the Dawnstone. And paint the cork here. Nice gray color. As you can see, I got some of it on the guy's leg, but we're going to make it dirty, so that's all right. Wash that brush up, and go back to your Gorthor Brown. We'll paint those logs that nice brown color. I go in and get the leg over the gray, just paint it that brown since it's the same color. Okay, so there's our base. Go ahead and pause this and do a time lapse. All right. So after the clock went to 90 minutes, it started back over, so just FYI, didn't restart it. Okay, so we've got the basing done now. Now we're going to use Agrax Earthshade. We're going to cover the entire model with this brown wash. Okay, we're going to go ahead and start the timer. And here we go. Just dip your brush in it nice and thick like this and just cover the entire model. And go ahead and get the rock and the wood, and that really will start to blend in better too. And if it's built up so much in one spot, go ahead and brush it off, remove it. If it builds up on the bottom, that's okay. It's supposed to look all muddy and grimy. And now the model really starts to come together, especially when it'll dry. Okay, go ahead and do another time lapse. These have now had time to dry. Let's take a look at them. It looks so much better now. Everything is nice and blended in. And the camo, even though we had those large strokes, I think it looks really great. Really enjoyed painting these. It's really good to have some nice big camo spots so when you're looking at them from afar, really looks nice. All right, we're almost done with these miniatures. Last thing to do is we're gonna grab a nice thick brush, nice and stiff. I'm gonna go ahead and use some white scar. And what you wanna do is just kind of dab it, get a little bit on the end of your brush. And just like in my other videos, you're going to scrape it on this paper towel. Get as much of the paint off as you can. And then start dry brushing. So let's go ahead and start our timer. And if you want to see how much you got, just use your thumb. Okay. We're going to go ahead and dry brush the weapons here. Maybe a little bit of the gloves. Just get a little bit of the highlights here. And then we're going to dry brush the rocks, make those pop out. Look at that, that's awesome. Okay, I don't want to get too much, just enough. And that'll be that unit there. Okay, go ahead and do a time lapse. Alright, we're now going to do some Swamped Tufts by Army Painter. You can choose whatever ones you like, but this has a little bit of touch of yellow and darker greens and lighter greens. Really make our bases come to life. You can use whatever ones you'd like. Go ahead and open these up here. I always like to put a little bit of glue on the backs of them, even though they are sticky, just to make sure they don't ever fall off the miniature. So I just like to grab it, put a little glue here, and let's grab one of our miniatures. Let's go ahead and start the timer. And I like to find an open spot on it. So we got a little space here. Put it by the rock and press it down. Grab the end of your brush and press it down and shape it how you like. It's the easiest way. You know, a lot goes a long way, so I think I'm just gonna maybe do one here. And we could do a little smaller one on the other side. Grab a little bit of glue, a smaller tuft. And let's put it in front of the log. Right here, use the back of our brush. You can just squeeze it right there, flatten it out a little bit. This really brings our base to life. Okay, let's do that for the other miniatures with another time lapse. Right, after applying the tufts, we're going to go ahead and use our black, and we're going to paint the rim of the bases all the same color. So go ahead and get a nice brush here, and make sure your hands are clean. When you grab your model, use the side of your brush to apply this nice black base coat here on the rim of the base. Now, I've said it before in my other videos, and I'll say it again. Some people choose to do their rim color a different to help mark the models in your army. I prefer to do all the colors the same on the rims and try to highlight your miniatures with a different color to designate different units. As seeing as this army only has one unit of scouts, it doesn't really matter. The camo is a really great option. Okay, there's that. So this mini is officially complete. Pretty cool looking. We'll set him there and do another time lapse. Alright, well, this finishes this video. We painted these miniatures in about an hour and 51 minutes and 8 seconds. Now, this is just one scout unit. You can apply this technique to any of your miniatures. And remember, it's just those 3 colors to get that nice camo look. Be sure to continue to watch the videos, as this is part of an army that we'll be giving away, just like we did this previous army in my other videos. I really appreciate all the support and comments. Please continue to stay tuned for upcoming videos, and you guys have a great rest of your day. Bye.